Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio today. It's David Levan, and he's founder and CEO of Advantax. David, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, it's a property tax consultant and compliance business.
Okay.
And how I got into that...
Yes, how did you get into that?
I know, when you say that, it's not something you necessarily go to school for directly. Mm-hmm. I actually started my career at PwC in financial valuations, and we did a lot of valuation work for mergers and acquisitions, and I found myself doing more projects for property tax purposes. Okay. Interesting projects could be valuing a winery in California to look at an assessment appeal. Mm-hmm. From there, I actually went to work for Kraft Foods, and at that time they wanted somebody to come in and help organize. They knew they got thousands of bills, but are we paying the right amounts? Are the values correct? And so I spent time building a process and a system there. And it was while I was at Kraft, I got the idea that this is a confusing tax. Mm-hmm. It's a frustrating tax. Yes. And there's lots of companies out there that need help with that. So I founded Advantax in 1994. In fact, we just celebrated our 20th year anniversary.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Now, you mentioned that it's a confusing tax. It's a frustrating tax. It's an angry tax for me, too. It just makes me mad. Why should we hire you rather than, say, have our typical CPA handle it? Well,
we actually work with a lot of accounting firms and a lot of law firms. Okay. We specialize in property tax. That's all our firm does. And it's a niche. It's a $480 billion tax, so it's a fairly good-sized niche, mm-hmm. but it's a niche. And I kind of look at that as when you go to your doctor, you go to your general practitioner for many, many things. But if you need something, say back surgery, you'll go to an orthopedic surgeon. Right. And so we come alongside accounting firms, law firms, and bring that special expertise in property tax. And when we're thinking about property tax, we're thinking that we pay too much, and you're really there to help us figure out if that value is right for that property tax. And if it's not, what can we do about it? Yes, and when you think about a typical customer and how they feel about this tax, mm-hmm. it's kind of a mixed feel. Oh, it is. At one level, I think taxpayers understand the necessity. Mm-hmm. It funds schools, libraries, police, all of the community activities that happen. But at another level, I think it's frustrating because can be very confusing. Mm-hmm. Here in Illinois, you pay your property tax bill in May and in September. Right. But you can't really do anything about it at that time. You had to have appealed it a year prior. And I think that confusion adds to it. It's also a tax that grows. In the last decade, it's about doubled for taxpayers. So other taxes have maybe gone up 30 or 40% when you think of income tax or sales tax. So if you're a business owner, it suddenly has become a larger part of your operating costs. And so you want to know, what can I do about this? Is this the right amount that I'm paying on, or is there something I should be doing? Well, and it is a large part of the operating costs that doesn't necessarily go towards the bottom line. I mean, we're in that building, but it doesn't. It feels like you're just throwing out the window because we have to give it away. So, tell me a little bit about your typical client. Who are those typical clients? Well, it's interesting. We don't have what I would call a typical client. We work in many industry sectors. We work mm-hmm. very much in the industrial, manufacturing, distribution section. Right. We also work in retail. And we work with large national customers. We also work with single location customers. At the end of the day, what brings them together is they have a large property tax bill, mm-hmm. and they're not sure if they're paying the right amount. And they want someone to help walk them through that process. Right, and then we want you to help us walk it through, and then we want you to just look at it every year once we figured that out. Right. And you mentioned something that you're both large and small and any type of business. You're also national. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. We work. We have a large portion of our business in Illinois with the real estate taxes. We also work nationally. Other states tax personal property and inventory and all kinds of things under property tax. And again, it's a niche that makes up about $480 billion of tax. So there's a lot of issues and a lot of opportunities there. Right. Well, a lot of knowledge that you need to have. Tell me a little bit about how your company works. You have a little bit of an open book policy, and tell me a little bit about that and why that's important to you. Well, Liz, we have always valued transparency and collaboration. That's how we work with our customers. Any customer can come and see what we're doing, can walk along through us. In fact, we want them to learn from it. We take it off their plate, but we want them to understand what we're doing.
Sure.
So a few years ago, we looked internally and said, could we be more transparent, more collaborative? And so we opened up our books, but not just to inform all of our employees, but to actually engage them. So we've got a weekly meeting where we'll go through our sales metrics, our projects, our key metrics, and our income statement, and everybody has a part. Somebody owns the travel line, somebody owns the postage line, and it takes about 30 minutes. We'll go through the process, but at the end of that, everybody kind of understands where do we sit for this month, and how is that in the context of the year, and what are areas that I can get involved with. And it really engages the whole company, and it also gets the best ideas, because you don't know where the next best idea is going to come from.
Well, and does it give your employees a feeling of empowerment, too, to know where that their work directly hits that line, or somebody else, they can see all the lines, how they add up?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the biggest gaps sometimes in business is what I'm working on, how does that fit? Mm-hmm. Where does it make a difference? And I think by doing open book financials through what we call the great game of business, it allows everybody to see their activities and how it fits into making a successful business.
You also you said off camera to me that it brings your customers peace of mind. And how does that help children in need? You had those two things going together, and I thought that was fascinating.
Well, when we set up the business, we want to be excellent at what we do. So we look at property tax, we help companies with their compliance and with looking for savings opportunities.
Right, that's what we're there for, yeah. That's what we're looking for.
Right, and that's what we do. But when we step back and say, what is our higher purpose? Like, why do we exist? We really answer it with to bring peace of mind to our customers and help the children in need. The peace of mind to our customers, as we said, this is a frustrating, confusing tax. So the peace of mind is helping them to understand it more and to know that we've got them covered on the deadlines and wading through the confusion. Mm-hmm. The hope that children in need is, what's our legacy? What are we doing as a company that will impact the world and make it a better place? So in our great game, there's a line item for giving back, and a portion of our income goes to our foundation. And we use that to partner with local organizations and global organizations, all with the purpose of helping at-risk children.
Wow, that's terrific. That's terrific. Dave, thanks for stopping by and telling us a little bit about what you do and how you do it. I think it's really very impressive. So I wish you a lot of luck. And thanks for stopping by. We're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.